I got them to give me a choker to make the point that I'm not harmful, and they agreed. So at least I'm inside with a choker on. What next, Miss Newton? Anyway, the thing is like recognizing the delusional party in it, right? Because knowing I'm a framed innocent the whole time, knowing I'm being more and more harassed, more and more severely with zero protection throughout it, to the extent where like every time I come out, I just get bombarded with a bunch of calls. Remember when they finally got a call out from the Best Buy? I had just spent 8 hours that day walking, having people relentlessly jump up on me, trying to cause problems with security officers. There's been times where I've had relentless help calls. Leave me alone. That over. Now that I'm in it, where I bargain from is the position of what do you need? Because I've got these people in here going, guys, I'm a framed innocent. My reality is much different than what you've been reported. Can't get into why that is potentially because I don't think you can handle it, but you got to give me something here. You got to do a face-to-face with me and do some sort of assessment before this process moves forward, please. Can't? Okay. Well, then okay, that's gonna suck for my ass. It didn't not suck being 25 days in isolation, 110 days in incarceration without cause. I really did suck. Those are way worse places than prisons. You have way less freedom. But to get out, I'm like, anything you need, because they're looking at me with these desperate faces. They're like, Miss Newton, please, just give us everything we know to be true. We need this. We need you to go through these steps for us, because it gives us our sense of reality. You think going in, I didn't know that I was dealing with that? So bartering the final end of it, like I said, I wish I could have gone home earlier that day. I wish I could have got the smokes and gone home quick. But I knew I was going to be bombarded on basically every click of the signal system, right? You could technically, theoretically, if you were isolating an innocent, patch a new foreign fucking element into their transmission. So I knew it was going to be one of those days. I just wish I'd have come home earlier. But in the same vein, it's fine to be spit out the back end of this way anyway, with all those poor desperate fucking workers looking at me going, Miss Newton, it's all we know. It has to be this way. You have to do this next. Okay. And me being like, first of all, don't pinch my tit without wanting to get killed, because there's no fucking law supporting a person like me. I am rightsless, lawless, and completely pristine. I'm pristine in my record. Rightsless and lawless. Nobody will help me in either division, except for people that want to label it sick, and they can do all they know how to do. I found helpful people finally, but they're still dealing with the reality that's not my existence, right? I have to cop to, finally I did crap under pressure and started, it must have been that. Nope, that was probably the worst day of harassment I went through. But just to get out and get home wasn't even possible. So until Daddy got his end game off, and this time I was way worse than ever before. And again, when it comes to CGI and camera footage, like camera footage is useless, but those cameras are on that Best Buy. They're in my corner. The cameras are in my corner. All of the camera footage would have shown me to be relatively normal. I was still busting signals by the second, trying to get through the store, but I was still normal. And that can only be consulted at the time. Because if you take that camera footage away, the risk of tampering with CGI, given that it can create perfect 3D realities, it's too tempting. So in that moment, a good decent cop would have just said, what's the idea here? Okay, well, the footage, she says one thing, you say another. Okay, let's consult the footage. I would have won. I would have been able to go home. But like I said, these guys don't know any different. They're like, we found another one, we could potentially form them, get the paycheck done, get the fucking status quo reoriented. And again, I'm not willing to forget about the thousands of people that are going through this. It's not just me in the ward right now. It's stacked with people that are disheveled. And we don't know how they got that way. And we can't just assume that it was because they didn't give a shit or they got a hard bargain once or twice or 10 times. They could have been isolated, because I certainly was. And thank God I'm out of this with my place, my relationships intact. I have an end date. I get to wait for Monday and walk into my life again. Hopefully all my contacts and my missions that I'm on right now are intact. But these do-gooders saying they just want to help me get back to my best life. All I can do is say, fine, this is what you're asking for me to do that, right? You need this specific thing? Okay, then let's do it. I'll do it with you. I will do this with you if you need it. I am that compassionate, but I'm not going to be like, no, Miss Newton doesn't need that kind of subduing on her own. She just doesn't. So I don't think I feel really empowered to be able to. Who wants to see my dog bite? I'll be empowered. Look, fucking Rottweiler. Look at it. Look at the purple. Look at it. It's just, look. You see right there on the thumb? Like, oh, best fun I've had in a while. Why? Because there's nothing else going on. Just me being stalked for my fucking IP address, barcode. Again, I log into YouTube because Facebook won't let me post photo and video right now. I can tag friends and show my emotions, but I can't post photo or video. I can't live stream from my cell phone anymore. So I finally log into YouTube, go on, and Gmail's still trying to track that shit to a phone number. Why? Because I finally fed up with Gmail thinking they had my phone number for a short period of this, and I got it back off them finally. Now that I've isolated the second account, I took the phone number back off the first account that I was only holding to keep Gmail quiet for a spell while I worked on Facebook and YouTube. Am I for real? I could have been so... Again, I'm like Jim Carrey. I had a father that was the most beautiful sense of humor in the world. I intended to make stadium choreographies, children's books, help on development projects all over the world. I didn't need to be famous. I didn't need anything. I just need to be involved. And now I'm like, nothing left but this very important project. And I feel it is important because I'm not a placeholder. This didn't happen to Miss Newton. This is happening to a whole bunch of bodies, and I'm not going to leave them in there. How about that? Because you can't rehabilitate in a prison, and you can't find someone help they need for their mental illness in this kind of situation. What are you doing, Miss Newton? I'm getting help for my mental illness. You're in solitary. How's that happening? Is there anyone in the world that would be sane enough to go, wait, now, are you in solitary getting help for your mental illness? Why? It's only been 3 months, I don't know. 1 month solitary, 2 months incarcerated. That's over 3 months, Miss Newton. Are you okay? Is there anyone else that's been through that? A lot. I saw a lot of people going through that while I was in here. And I'm not willing to just let it go. So I think more than ever, I'm empowered to tell my story and recognize that when the opportunity came, I took it. Even if that meant I never did give Gord my number. And it did mean that. In the end, I had not to. I had no choice, but I couldn't. I couldn't give Gordon my number because I knew at the time that it was important that we had a space between people where only flesh had touched. That's an important connection. You know, we never connected on any of the platforms. So our numbers could not be penetrated through a digital end to try and create that special private zone for Daddy and all his sexually miscreant traffickers. All right, I'm gonna live stream all weekend. I feel really calmer now that I'm smoking cigarettes every 2 hours and I have my phone. It's gonna make the next 3 days more bearable than the last 3, let me tell your asshats. Finally, you got me doing that one. Okay, we'll talk soon. Love ya. Thanks for listening.